everyone. Welcome to
Spilling the Tea Podcast.
And this is episode
12.
Yay!
Good job.
High five. Yay! Period.
Hello, everyone. We have a very special guest today.
What's your name?
My name is Maya and I'm 5 years old.
Wow, that was very quick. Is this your first time on a podcast episode?
Yes.
Wow.
It seems like you're not camera shy.
Are you afraid of the camera? No. Okay. Do you want
She's a diva.
to tell us about your siblings?
So I have just 3 siblings and I'm only the girl.
Whoa.
So you have 3 brothers, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
So are you also saying that you get princess treatment at home?
Yes.
Oh my god.
What are your brothers' names?
Their names are Maddie, Morgan, and Mason.
Okay.
Do you have a favorite?
Do you have a favorite sibling? It can be your secret.
All of them are my favorite.
Oh my god, that's a good answer because you know what? They're gonna be watching this episode.
And I think they're gonna be so jealous because you get to be the first kiddo on the podcast, and your brothers haven't got to be on yet. How do you feel about that?
We're so happy to have you here, Maya. And you know, we wanted to invite you because we just wanted to talk a little bit of, you know, what it is to have Matt as a brother and maybe how that looks at home.
Yeah, and I think it's important for other families as well to talk about how can we introduce this information and in what way do we talk about it? How do we make sure it's age appropriate? And you know, of course, we're gonna look at kids in terms of elementary school versus middle school versus high school. We are always trying to make sure, number one, rule of medicine, but also in general, right? We don't want to do any harm. And so looking at the age appropriateness of these conversations is going to be crucial. And I think for someone like Maya's age, you know, where they're really starting to understand gender and they're going to understand when someone is different, how can we best support our sibling in that way, right? So the way that we talked about Matt being trans is that we sat them all down at the dinner table, and I think we really tried to make sure that it was an informal kind of conversation where people can ask questions, and we let them know, number one, that Matt really is not a girl and does not feel like a girl, and honestly really emphasizing that Matt really does not like being called a girl. And Matt really, it bothers him when people call him a girl. And so, you know, everyone is different. Sometimes we see people with differences like gender or ethnicity or even their physical ability to do things. Like sometimes if we see people in a wheelchair, we're not going to be mean to them, right? We're gonna understand that they're different, and but that doesn't mean that they can't be a good friend or a good sibling, right? And so maybe Maya, how do you feel about Matt being a boy?
Good.
And I think and that's what we expect and that's what we want, right? We want to make sure that it's a non-issue. We want to make sure that if anyone teases Maddie, you know, for looking different or being different, that we support him. If someone was very mean to Maddie or someone was very mean to Mason or Morgan, how would you feel, Maya?
Bad.
Yeah, okay. And if Maddie or Mason or Morgan were sad, then how can we help cheer them up?
I could just do something good.
Yeah.
Like what?
Like,
I feel like you
maybe
always,
give them a hug.
but you always draw them pictures every day. Don't you do that? And then they get so happy. Do you want to share with all the people who might be watching you? Like, what kind of things do you do for your brothers that make them feel so happy if maybe they're not feeling so great?
talk.
Yeah. Do you talk to them?
Yeah.
What do you like to talk to them about?
Wait.
Lanky box?
No.
She said no. Oh, that but no.
Because they don't really like Linky Box, I think.
Oh, I see. So what do you do whenever maybe Mason or Morgan or Matt is feeling sad? What do you like to do?
Yeah, when they're crying, what's something that you usually do?
I give them a hug.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's very nice.
And do you ask them like, oh, like, where are you sad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when we told this to all of the kids, we let them know we want to make sure that we see Matt as a boy because that's what he is. We want to make sure that we are not mean to him and that if other people are being mean, Morgan said, who's 9 years old, and at the time, he was only 6 or 7, and he said, Matt is just built different. Matt's just different, and that's all it is. And so I really love that. It just reminds me of, that's really the truth of what
Yeah,
it
and
is.
I also remember, and this is from like, for those that don't know, before I became who I am at Spill the Tea Cafe, I was actually this baby's nanny when she was like, I don't know, 3 months old.
Maya, do you remember that?
And
Was Kiki your nanny?
do you remember when we used to like go to the park and go to the beach and swim and paint?
Your iPhone.
She's lying. No, but I remember when, I was their nanny, someone in the family misgender, or like a friend at the park, someone had just misgender Matt very early on in his transition. And Mason got so mad and so triggered. He was like, listen, and I wish he was here. He was like, listen, you need to understand that Matt is a boy, okay? You need to get it. And it's like, it's very nice because Maddie wasn't there and he's still, standing up for his sibling and making sure that other people understand who Maddie truly is, even when Maddie is not there. And I know that, Maya knows a lot, considering her age. Maya, can you remind them how old are you again?
I'm 5 years old.
Yes, she's only 5 years old and she understands so much that I know she's gonna grow up to be an advocate, just like the two of us, And it is very special because if these kids can get it, like, why are there people out there that are still having a hard time getting it or understanding it at a minimum,
And also, I have to shout out Dr. Lum, who really...
Shout out Dr. Lum. I hope you're watching this.
Yes, she's amazing, and she
Truly
came
an
in-
inspiration.
Yeah, and she actually showed us a book, and it's called Red, a crayon
Yes.
story.
Yeah, by Michael Hall. Great
And-
author.
Yes, and it's about this red crayon that looks red from the outside, but inside he actually colors blue. And it's such a celebration of everyone's diversity. And even though so many people say, you're red, you look red, right? But every time they tried so hard to be red, whenever they would color, it was still blue. And so we use this illustration, and I would recommend it to any parents out there who might, just be a little worried about how to present this information. And as you can see, right, they are totally just, it's not a big deal. I think the adults make it a big deal. And
She's like doing all kind of faces, you guys.
And Maya, I think, let me ask you one more question. Is that okay? You've been so great today. But what is your favorite thing to do with Matt? Or what is your favorite thing about Matt?
My favorite thing about Maddie is that he hugs me.
Oh, he always hugs you so much.
And he
huh?
snuggles with you, huh? Do you like snuggling with Maddie?
But I feel like you also love Cam a lot.
Yes.
Do you love Cam more than Matt?
Of course not.
I thought she was gonna say, of course I do. I'm like, oh, we're gonna have to cut that.
And if anyone was mean to Matt, what would you say to them?
I would say, can you please not be mean to Matt?
Yeah, that's very
Because
good.
that hurt people feelings, right? Yeah. Including Matt. And I think that something that people don't understand, especially those Facebook keyboard warriors, is that, when you are being so disrespectful to the community, you are not just hurting that person that identifies as LGBTQIA, but you're hurting their little sibling or their mom or their dad, It's not really against that kiddo. It's really against a whole army of people that stand in front of that kiddo because, we are kind of like the shield. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
absolutely. And I would also add to that as a parent, you really want to do your own processing. You really want to do your own inner work before you present this information to the rest of the family, because again, the way that you deliver the message is so crucial. And a lot of times kids will mirror that, right? So if you're really upset that your child is LGBT, then you're also kind of programming your littles to kind of view them that way as well. And so it's just really important that we celebrate the diversity, we celebrate the uniqueness, but it's so important to do your own inner work. And wherever you are in that journey, right, it will impact your children. And so number one, really trying to understand, is this persistent? Is it consistent? And if so, then you want to make sure that you are talking with that child, the LGBTQI plus child, and really making sure that they're also okay with it, while not forcing that child to lead the conversations for your family, because again, they still are like 10, 11, 12 in that age range.
She's like having a great time, and I am like having a hard time concentrating because she's just out here doing all kind of faces and all kind of movements. But yes, 100% I agree with you, and I think that it is definitely, I say this in many other episodes, you know, that we've already shot, but it's a journey that you're constantly evolving. Like, you just don't wake up and you're like, oh, I know it all. You know what I mean? I feel like you've been doing this for years and you're still learning. Like,
absolutely.
As of today, you're actively learning and trying to improve yourself as a parent, but also you continue to educate your family.
Yes.
You know, and I think that when you go out of your way and, you know, research about it, maybe listen to podcasts about it, try to connect with other parents that may be going through similar stuff like you, being a parent of a transgender truly definitely helps.
Right. And making sure that we are spreading correct information and not misinformation. Mm-hmm. Being able to say, yes, this is uncommon, but it is real. Validating that being transgender, being LGBT is real, and it's not just like made up or, you know, these myths like these kids are seeking attention or those kind of things. And we really want to advocate for the acceptance of LGBT kids.
Yeah, and like we briefly talked about back on episode 9 with Jasper, like transgender kids, they themselves don't even want to be trans because it's so fucking hard. You know what I mean? Like, they don't want to. And you guys make it more difficult when you can, like, you know, be a little flexible and learn more about what's going on.
Right.
And that's how I feel against transphobic people. That's exactly how I feel. Yeah, like that, just like that. Good job explaining that, Maya. Thank you. Thank you.
I also want to say that my kids are younger right now. So Maya's 5. We have a 9-year-old. We have an 11-year-old. And we've been really lucky to be able to implement this information as normal. And I also want to touch upon the possibility that siblings are not supportive, that families are not supportive, that siblings might go through their own feelings about it, right? Because sometimes siblings carry the shame of that identified LGBT person. And so also understanding that, letting them have their feelings. I talk with a lot of parents where, you know, again, and even my kids, like maybe as they get older, they might feel a certain way about it. And you really want to make sure that they do have a safe space to talk about it that's not in front of their sibling, where we can help coach them, where we can validate their feelings no matter what it is. Because again, society really makes it hard for trans people to live. And so that's why our siblings as well sometimes feel the shame and feel like they don't want to have a LGBT sibling.
Yeah, no, I actually have a good friend of mine. I'm sorry if you're watching this. I won't share your name or anything, but unfortunately, I have a really good friend of mine. He identifies as LGBTQIA, and he has an older brother, and his older brother when we're like in group settings, like he'll call him like the F word, like, oh, you know, like very disrespectful comments. And usually the parents, they're super supportive of the LGBTQIA kiddo. But when we're all together in a group setting and the older brother is calling his brother names, like the parents don't say anything, like they just laugh about it. And it's really sad because again, sometimes the support should really start within the household. You know, and if it's not starting there and you're not setting the example, like, what do you expect your child to come across of outside the rooms? You know what I mean?
Right. And how can siblings support each other, right? Yeah. It's not really a conversation that just happens all the time, but it's so important if you have an LGBTQIA plus child that these conversations are happening.
Yes, and something that you said briefly, how it can be so natural sometimes. I think that something that Maddie has that is very special and I truly admire as an outsider from your family is that you guys have really made this whole journey feel very natural. So the kids are like, oh yeah, I just have another brother. Like they're not like, oh yeah, my brother is transgender. Like, no, it's just, I have another brother. Like Maya said, oh yeah, my princess, I have 3 brothers, you know? Like it's been something so natural. And I think one of the reasons because of that, it's because we talk about it so much at home, you know, and where, of course, they see our work, they see Spill the Tea, but also because when they have questions, we're not like, oh, no, don't ask that. Like, oh, what's your question? I'm going to educate you on it.
Like
you know?
Normalize,
we normalize it at home
the questions to be asked.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a scary thing, you know, kids don't know how to ask sometimes. And so we as parents or as adults, we kind of need to lead that conversation. Again, it's hard when it's within your household, when it's our immediate family, and Kiki is literally like our immediate family. But
I'm the 5th child.
But there's not really a choice, if that makes sense. In order to have a healthy family, you need to inform your immediate family about when and with the child's consent, the LGBT child's consent. We want to make sure we are informing them in a positive way. However, extended friends and family, all of that's optional. All of that is a privilege for them to understand or know. All of those boundary setting and all of that, you as a parent can make sure to, whether you have a partner or not, right? Or you're talking to your therapist, someone, a consultant, someone who is, you really respect their advice. You wanna make sure that, it's not your job to educate everyone. It is my point, right? Like you're already dealing with so much. It's your job to educate your children. It's your job to educate yourself and to get your family to a place of peace. It's not your job to educate the rest of the world. However, it's your choice and your child's choice. And if you do want to advocate for them and inform other family members, I think that would be another episode where we can bullet point the way to do that effectively.
But also, like, if you're in the state of Hawaii, and you are kind of feeling lost, you know, you're navigating through this journey with your child, and please know that you're not alone. I mean, at Spill the Tea Cafe, we do not only individual and group therapy sessions, but we actually have an amazing clinician who is able to do family therapy and can work with the household as a unit. Because again, doesn't matter how much work the kiddo does, if the family it's not on board, then it's really not gonna work. So I do encourage all of the parents, guardians out there, if you have an LGBTQIA kiddo under your wing, please look out for the resources, and if you don't know, just stop by. You know, just stop by Spill the Tea. Let's talk story.
Shuri is amazing at family therapy. Connie
shout out
is amazing.
Shuri. Shout out Connie.
And we really work with many LGBT families, and even LGBT families, like say sometimes we have 2 dads or 2 moms, right? Even, again, it's an assumption we don't want to make, but even people within the community do not understand transgender children because they're not trans themselves. So how do we expect them to just know? You know, but a lot of even people of the community are really, really struggling with their children or family member being transgender. And so we love to educate. And honestly, we have seen nothing but love and a supportive community come out of these sessions. Like it's never a thing to separate the family. It's always a thing to bring the family together. And I just wanted to kind of address that myth sometimes about family therapy.
Maya, I have a question for you. if you could give anyone an advice on how to be the best sibling out there, what would you tell them?
Yeah, how can you be the best baby sister or little sister?
Because I'm so pretty.
Oh, she said, it takes skills and you gotta be pretty. If you don't have that, you're not a good sibling. Maya, period.
Maya, what about also being kind and strong and smart and things like that? Is that also very important? Or is only pretty being important?
She said, let me fix it, Mom. No, yeah, but maybe like, giving your siblings, here, I got you. Maybe giving your siblings space when they're upset, or, maybe drawing them pictures.
Oh, you do a good job at that, Maya.
And I also draw sunflowers with extra petals.
Oh,
that's very nice.
That's the key. Draw sunflowers with extra petals and make it colorful, right?
I make the sunflower all yellow, but in the middle it's brown.
Oh, very nice.
Sunflowers are my favorite flowers. Maya's also into coloring and drawing lots of rainbows, so that's also
Maya,
another
do you
thing.
like Spill the Tea Cafe? Can you tell all the viewers what is Spill the Tea Cafe?
Spill the Tea Cafe is Mama and Kiki's work, where they work a lot.
Oh, yeah. What else?
Social entrepreneurs.
What do you think about the the space, the actual cafe?
And I also like that they have water, because sometimes I get thirsty. I don't want water, so and also there's a water machine that I can do by myself.
Oh, nice. How about boba?
I don't really like boba, and I can't drink boba.
Oh, you don't drink boba at all?
I can't drink boba. I'm a kid.
Yeah, because the tapioca, right? You can choke on them.
Yes.
I see.
And what about like when you go hang out and you play games?
With all the teens there, what do you think about all the teens?
They are pretty nice.
They're pretty nice.
Yeah.
And what about like when you go play on the PS5?
I like it.
You like it?
It also has my favorite game, Astro.
Oh, who downloaded it for you? Who bought that game for you? Was it Miss Prim?
No, but I don't know if anybody bought it because I didn't know there was a PS5 on there.
She also has a huge dollhouse. For those that have been to Spill the Tea Cafe, it takes a whole corner, right? Your dollhouse, it's so big.
Yeah.
And for any of those who are wondering if we take younger kids, we do. They do have to be 5, just because a lot of the verbal cognitive behavioral therapy, they need to be a little older. I would say maybe 8 and above, just because they have to be able to conceptualize the concepts. However, at this age, we do mostly play therapy and family therapy, which is also like working with the parents and working with the caregivers. We do see a lot of little kids, which I think maybe Maya has ADHD, but we see a lot of kiddos with ADHD. We love our neurodivergent people.
We do.
Including me, right? So
And me.
we never want to shame people who have neurodivergence. We welcome.
It's truly a superpower.
Yes. So we welcome everyone to the cafe. We want to just leave you with some reminders. Number 1, doing your own work before you introduce this information to the family. Then number 2, you are making sure that your identified child is okay with that, conversation. You want to make sure that you decide whether or not it's best. I think it's best for the whole family to be there.
Yeah.
But again, it's up to you. You really know your family the best. And what else am I forgetting?
And number 3, for family, for friends and friends close to the family, again, it's truly a privilege for you to know this story. If you notice that there's a family going through a transition and you're like, well, why they're not telling me? Like, why am I not included?
It's highly personal, number 1.
It's very personal.
It's
Second,
highly challenging.
Yes, it's extremely challenging because you gotta think, these people, especially the parents, they are grieving the idea of what their kid was gonna be, and now they are learning to reframe that, and they are learning on how to best show up with their kids So if they are learning and they are going through the journey, how do you expect they have all the answers for you?
And also they might be overcoming their own guilt and shame about this. Again, society kind of programs us this way. It's not because of that child. However, it's really important to be respectful of the family. And if you really want to be allies and you really want to be supporters, you respect that this is the journey that the child is going through and that this is the way that the parents have decided to support and raise their child.
Do you have anything else to say, Maya? If you guys want to know more about us,
I think that's a sign.
You can follow us on Instagram. You can find us at spill_the tea cafe. If you haven't checked out our website, go to our website. It's spilltheteacafe.org. And
I would just say one last thing, that if you want to see Maya, she loves to sing at all of the Spill the Tea Cafe events. So she just did a great performance at our birthday bash. Thank you for that, Maya. And we will see you guys on June 29th for the Youth Pride Fest, where we definitely will have Miss Maya singing again. What song will you be singing?
I will be singing
Whatever song you want.
Roses.
Okay, what is it?
Roses.
Roses.
oh my God, if you guys were not there for our birthday bash, this girl sang "This Land is Made for You and I" or something like that. And oh my God, it was so beautiful.
This
my
land
heart.
is your land.
Oh,
That's what it's called.
I thought it was called like "This Land Was Made for You and Me." No?
All right.
Well, just go to our Instagram. You'll find the video. But thank you guys so much for watching. Again,
Maya, any last words? Do you want to say anything to everyone? Okay.
If you want to reach out, just email us, info@spilltheteacafe.org. Say ciao.
Ciao.
Maya, say period. Maya. Look at the camera and say period. Ciao. Good job.
Good job, Mylin.
How was that?
She's silly. So silly.